Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
The Search for Planet X is a game that sat on my shelf for literal years. Every time I pull it off, I was like, deduction, I gotta write stuff down, I don't know if I want to do this. It's just gonna work with the right group. But I kept hearing good reviews from them. Shut Up and Sit Down and the Dice Tower, and I was like, finally. I pulled up the shelf, I was like, I'm gonna play this and probably get rid of it. That was my explanation. And instead, I found a game that I really, really liked. Once I got through the rule book and kind of understood what was going on, I was like, this is interesting. The theme sucks. I don't like the trying to find comments and stuff like that. So I know there's a version coming out with animals that might be more appealing to us. I was going to back it, and then I didn't because I had this game. I was like, this is just as good. But the theme was a negative for us. Now, I realize that's subjective, and if you like space and finding comments and planets, it's going to be fine. Kind of found the asteroids and the gas icon to be a little too similar. Yes, if you look at them, I put them up, you'd be like, you are crazy. But when you're glancing at something and being quick, sometimes I put the wrong tiles down for those just because they looked a little too similar to me and I wasn't being overly careful with them, which I would in the future. You're going to get a really neat deduction. And what's cool about this game is that the app utilizes kind of the rules, if you will. And as you're playing, you can spend your time to get more information about the logical rules that are going to be implemented into this game. Now, what's really cool is this game has a mechanic of time, kind of like Croftwagen, Red October, Glenmore, where you don't play in player order. It's whoever spends the least amount of time will then get to take the next action. So some actions are more powerful, but it'll cost you more time. So somebody might get to go twice or even 3 times before you get to go once. But as you're getting more information, sometimes you'll want to do something that's like cheaper to do. It's not as powerful because you don't need direct information. I just need a little bit. I don't need to know what's in sectors 1 through 3. I need to know what's in sectors 1 through 7 because that's going to give me the same amount of information. So there's a little bit of that that's going on. But it's a deduction game. So as you're getting more information, you're ruling things out, trying to figure things out and piece it together. And sometimes you're so sure that your logic is right, and then I found that I was wrong. So that was happening sometimes to me. There are times when you're publishing those papers, you have to make educated guesses because you don't want somebody to beat you to the punch. And then you're wrong and it costs you additional time. Not a huge negative, but it is there. So you can try to guess along as you're going. And what's really neat is not only are you searching for Planet X, you can't just randomly guess he's in Sector 6. You got to know what's beside him also in order to win. Or not to win, but to end the game. So you need to have a little bit more information. So it's not just find Planet X, which could potentially be a lucky guess, but the chance of you guessing 3 sectors next to each other correctly, I think it dramatically decreases it. And that's another cool thing about this game is the person doesn't win just because you find Planet X. You're publishing papers and getting victory points. So yes, that will give you a lot of points, and you are likely to win if you do that. But that's all that you do, and somebody can play a better game that will probably defeat you in this game. Overall, this is one of my top 3 probably deduction games. I think I might need to put a list together to see, kind of pencil it in and shake things up and see where they actually land. But this one is very, very, very good. If you like deduction and you don't mind space, then this is the one I would tell you, hey, check this game out. Very easy to play, very easy to teach, very intuitive, and the app is a blessing for this sort of game. For those of you that are afraid of apps or don't like them in your board games, knock it off. This is a perfect example of when you should be using it, and it works brilliantly. Keeper for us. Here's a Search for Planet X. It has a really nice box too. It has a nice little finish on it. You can see the back of it. It does a pretty darn good job of explaining the game. You're going to open it up. My copy came with some advertisements, some Planetary Society. Had a solo game inside of it, which is nice, and a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. You are going to get a board, and the board does have some gloss to it, but for the most part, it's really just a timekeeper of what you'll be keeping around it. These tokens will be coming down, but there's not a whole lot to the board. It's kind of generic. The little artwork around it is nice enough. It is double-sided for an expert side and then the standard side of it you're going to have. As for an insert, not really. You're going to get these little plastic, I guess they're satellites that you'll be utilizing for your time markers. They're big in different colors, but they're kind of like mass marketing type stuff you're going to have. You're going to have some of these little cardboard chits that will be used. They're okay. I feel like the asteroid and the gas cloud were a little bit too similar. Yes, you can tell them apart. One has little circles in it. But at a quick glance, I messed them up a couple times. That might just be on me. Going to have this little marker here. And the way this is going to be set up is you're going to put this in the middle. and it'll kind of keep it in place, and you'll be able to turn it around like that. You're going to have the screens. There'll be 4 of those, one of each color. It has like a whole bunch of information on it that you'll be needing as you play. Those are fine. And then you're going to get your little pieces of paper. They're double-sided, standard, or if you're playing on advanced, etc. You can see here, you'll be able to write these in. Now, you do get quite a bit of these, but I mean, I guess when you get down to the bottom of them, you're going to want to laminate these at some point. I should note that each one of them has a little section, which is on the bottom of the board here. So it depends on where you're sitting at. It'll have it rotated properly for you. You do get quite a bit. I wish this would have been laminated with dry erase boards instead. The space theme is a little bland. It's kind of boring to me. Like it's just a lot of black with white specks. If you really like the space thing, I guess you'll like it. For the rest of us that like colors, we won't like it as much. But the quality of the components are really, really good. So here is the rule book. When you open it up, you're going to see a picture of all the components. I really do like that quite a bit. Now it's going to have a summary of kind of what's going on here. It gives you some theories, and the peer review tracks kind of explains where everything's at. Setup comes with numbers. You can see it corresponds. You're going to have an app that you're going to have to download. It wasn't clear to me at first that there was an app. So at first it kind of showed up you have to go to this website, but I was able to find the app on the Apple Store. Gameplay sequence, once again, it's going to give you a little bit of an overview and then start breaking things down a little bit more. Plenty of examples. You can see the words coming out here, kind of showing where things go, etc., how to fill it out. Advancing the player turn, and then rotating the board through. The theory phase is a little wonky. It's a little weird, but I think it works once you get the hang of it. End of game and scoring. Once again, you're not going to win by just finding Planet X. There's a little bit of a scoring system to it. You need to understand some important terms. I really didn't have a lot of problems with the rulebook. It was okay, but I feel like once I started sitting down to play the game, everything kind of clicked for me. After our first game, I didn't need this anymore, but it does have a solo mode in it. It was an extra piece of paper, but this worked out really well. So the way this game is going to work for the first part of it is you're going to be, whoever's behind will move. So if you move 3 times, you'll come through here, and now it's yellow's turn. Say he moved 2, then it'll be purple. Let's say he moved 1, then it would be blue. And if blue moved there, that's fine. Then purple would go, let's say he moved 1, move for the yellow, and then yellow might go, and then purple. So whoever's behind in the track time will go. That's the first thing you're going to need to know. Now, whenever somebody moves and does an action, so let's say it's something like this. Let's say it's set up here, and purple moves over here. Then this will move up, and then red will take his turn, and it'll move up. Now, every time you go through this, we'll go through what's called a peer theory, and then when you get through this one, you'll put this into your app and get more information. So you want to be clear as these come on, it will always move up. So say this guy was here, he took a giant turn, went all the way down here, this would go up, you would activate this icon, and then move up. So once you kind of understand how that works, that's going to be one of the main conceits of the game. Now, whether you're playing on the standard mode or the expert, it's going to work the same. This expert's going to have a few more things you have to figure out here, be putting in. You'll have some notes that you'll put in, and you can have you see the board here. Now, based on where you're sitting, so in this case, if we're sitting here, this player would have it, so the board would be rotated and oriented correctly from where they're sitting. But for ease of reference, you can mark on this, you mark out what you don't think is in a section or what you're able to do isn't in those sections, and you have certain rules that will be printed down here and certain rules as the game goes on. Now, you're going to have 4 actions you can do. You can survey, which you can go like through 11 through 3. I want to know if there's a comet here, and they'll tell you how many comets are between 11 and 3. That takes up a certain amount of time. You can target, which you can only do twice in a game. You can pick a sector, like 2, and they'll tell you exactly what's in 2, and I can only do that twice. Another one is research, which you can only do every other turn at a max, and that will just give you a rule. So if you look down here, you're going to find out research and conference notes. It'll just tell you something. Maybe it'll say there are no comets by dwarf planets or something. You'll just research something, and it'll tell that out to you. Remember, you can't do that 2 turns in a row. It has to be at least every other turn. And the last one is locate planet X. So if you think planet X is in sector 1, that's fine. You can guess that, but you also have to know what's in 2 and 12. So the 2 adjacent ones, you're going to have to know. If you miss any one of those, you will not be able to locate planet X. When you do locate planet X, then you're going to score victory points. Now, if you remember, I told you you're going to have these little theories that will come out. You're going to have these with different icons on them. So let's say I know where a comet is, and I know it's in 2. So when we get to one of these little icons, everybody will put one in their hand or two on expert mode and reveal that they're putting one out. You don't tell anybody what it is, and you can put whatever sector you want, and it will move. And every time that you hit one of these icons, it will move further down. When it gets to the bottom here, you are going to flip it over and everybody will be able to see it, and then the app will verify whether it was correct or not. If it's not correct, it will come off the board and you will lose 1 time. If it is correct, it will stay there and it will score you victory points at the end of the game. I'm going to attempt to showcase this to you the best I can. So show you up with the game. You're going to start a new game. You can pick standard or expert mode, and then you will start the game. It'll give you a code that you'll be able to give to the other players, and they'll be able to utilize the same information you are on their phone. And once you're ready to do that, you pick where you're sitting at. So we're sitting at the autumn one, and you can pick youth, beginner, experienced, or genius. This will give you a number of facts at the beginning of the game. So if you're playing with your kids, you might want to give them youth, and maybe you start out experienced, but I'll just show you beginner, and you get the starting information. So you'll take this information and you'll be behind your screen and you can go ahead and start marking these things out on your piece of paper here. Everybody else will have the same information. Then when you're ready to start the game, you'll write these research things down. So, these are the things that you could potentially research during the game and you're ready. Then you will survey or target or research whatever you want. So just say survey. It'll say what you're looking for. I'm looking for comments. It has to be in here. So you start with 7. Maybe I want to search between 7 and 11 for a comment. I'll survey. It tells me it's 3 time, and there are no comments in this sector. So then I would go to my paper, and I would mark that down, leaving myself those notes, and move myself 1, 2, 3 time on the board. Now, the peer review, let's say we want to do this. We'd comment. We would say in sector 2, we're looking for a comment. It would tell me there is a comment, so that would stay there, and I would score. Then when you're ready to locate, let's say there's a conference, when you get to that X1 I was telling you about, it'll reveal that information to you. So Planet X is not adjacent to a gas cloud. So if anywhere you know there's a gas cloud, Planet X is not next to it. And those are things that you can do. So when you're ready to end the game, you'll go here. It'll tell you where everything was. And then you return to the start screen. So that's kind of how the app is going to work. It's a very good tool to use in this game. You have to use this or the website, one or the other, to utilize it, but you can see how easy to use. And that's how you play Search for Planet X. Who should buy this game? Anybody looking for a fun experience. I played this with 2 and 4 players, and it works brilliantly. I find the app to be very good, and it's so awesome that you can have your phone, I can have mine or iPad or whatever, and they all link up, which is great. So you can have your little thing in front of you and you're announcing things to the group. I found it to be very, very brilliant. It also has sounds so nobody can cheat. So if somebody tries to plug something in and be sneaky, it's going to go ding or doom. So you're pressing buttons over there for. That's a really nice touch, especially when you're playing with children or somebody who might be inclined to teach. Shame, shame, shame. Everybody knows your name. So it's a really fun game. If you're looking for a deduction game, this is definitely one to pick out. This is definitely one to seek out and play. I'm excited about the sequel to it with the animals, but for now, Search for Planet X is a definite keeper for us.